What's up, everybody? It's Jared with Capture the Magic, and in today's video, we're going to talk about whether or not Disney World might be looking at a fifth gate, as some recent new filings have happened that do open up the potential of a new theme park being built at Walt Disney World. And this is an article here from Blog Mickey, and it says Walt Disney World fifth theme park approved by Oversight District, but no plans currently are under review. Says a new comprehensive plan has been released by the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District and Walt Disney World. This joint venture document was part of a settlement agreement between the district, Walt Disney World, and Ron DeSantis following heated litigation after DeSantis took over a local government that regulated Walt Disney World. The new comprehensive plan, which we're still skimming through, outlines planning through 2045, including allowed new development at Walt Disney World. It also addresses the possibility of a fifth theme park at Walt Disney World. It says, in this comprehensive plan, the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District has planned for and effectively approved a fifth theme park at Walt Disney World. This is an increase in the allowed maximum from a 2010 plan, but not an increase in the allowed maximum from more current comprehensive plans. In terms of timing, a fifth theme park would not be allowed before 2035, according to the updated plans. Not that I think Disney would be announcing one before then, but apparently they can't before 2035. Only one new major theme park is allowed through the end of 2045 as part of this plan. In addition to a single major theme park allocated in this plan, the plan allows for two minor theme parks as well. A minor theme park would be a water park or similar smaller offering, which I would say I don't imagine that Disney is going to be adding another water park into the mix. They already have two, and until recently, they would just open one at a time ever since COVID. They're both open this summer, and they've been pretty busy for the most part, but that's basically because Disney is having free water park access if you're staying on Disney property, at least on the day you check in. So that's why the water parks, both of them are open and have been much busier. But before this and this year, the two parks basically just, flip-flopped when they were open because there has been just a lack of demand in the water park side. But it says no current plans to expand the parks. It is important to note that while the district has approved the construction of a new major theme park or expansion, Walt Disney World has not announced any plans to build a fifth theme park. In fact, we would be surprised if a fifth theme park was announced during the time frame allocated in this 2045 plan. I completely agree with that. In fact, a fifth theme park has been part of the CFTOD, that just rolls right off the tongue, Reedy Creek Improvement District comprehensive plans for some time now, as Walt Disney World simply keeps its options open. Currently, Walt Disney World is focused on turbocharging development of its own theme parks, with a number of construction projects either underway or on the horizon. The Central Florida Tourism Oversight District says that there are no plans under review to take advantage of the expanded allowed maximum developments. It says, while there are currently no plans for a fifth theme park or two more minor theme parks, the district says that there is room for additional attractions and expansions. The district estimates that roughly 850 acres would be required if Disney were to build out to the maximums. The district says that some 2,168 acres are currently marked for suitable development through 2045. Any future development is expected to carry on the tradition of being surrounded by natural settings and physical separation from existing development. They also talk about in here, and part of this plan is the hotel end, which I do find interesting. It says, compared to previous plans, the 2045 comprehensive plan actually allowed for fewer hotel rooms to be built. Previous plans allowed for 11,300 new keys or rooms through 2020. The new plan cuts that number significantly, only allowing up to 7,748 new keys over the next 10 years. This represents a slowdown in hotel growth over similar timeframes when compared to the 2010 plan. But they do say there's an expected boom in attendance. Over the next 20 years, the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District is expecting the number of guests at Walt Disney World property to increase by some 50 to 60%. Currently, it is estimated that a slow day brings some 200,000 plus people to Walt Disney World property. A busy day is estimated to bring that number above 307,000. By 2045, a slow day is estimated to bring 335,000 people to Walt Disney World, while a busy day will bring more than 475,000 people to their property. The figure includes permanent residents, resort guests, theme park visitors, and employees, Estimates of functional population are best expressed as a range because many resort guests are potentially double counted as theme park visitors. And it says the 2045 comprehensive plan is currently being reviewed and will be finalized later this year. So when we look at this, like first off, when they talk about the expected boom in attendance over the next 20 years, they expect the number of guests at Walt Disney World property to increase by 50 to 60%. I'm not really sure what that's going to be based off of. Obviously, these are just guesses, and guesses can be wrong, or estimates can be wrong here. But if you look at the current, attendance numbers, you look at the overall wait times have been decreasing, and this summer, obviously, it's been reported all over the place, touring plans included, that the parks are kind of empty this summer, even with all the deals that Disney is running right now. There's not a lot to me right as of now that points to this 50 to 60% increase. Now, things can change, of course. There can be a rebound in the economy. People have much more discretionary income, and they come flowing back into the theme parks. But when you're talking about a fifth gate at Disney, it is my opinion that a fifth gate would only cannibalize attendance at the other parks, very likely Animal Kingdom, because if you look at the average days that people have for vacation in America, most people travel for 3 to 5 days on vacation. If you're talking people going on a 5-day vacation to Central Florida, that's going to, a fifth gate here would be assuming that they're only going to go to Disney World and they're only going to go to, they're going to one park each day of their trip. I think the new reality in Orlando is that Universal is a bigger competitor than they have been before, and they're only going to continue to become a bigger competitor. So obviously that means a lot of people are going to split time between Disney and Universal. So let's say they do 2 or 3 days at Universal, they do 2 or 3 days at Disney. That doesn't leave enough days for people to do all 5 parks at a Disney, at Disney World for a Disney vacation. I mean, Disney World already has, I think, unless I'm mistaken on this, they have the most parks on a given theme park property already. And just because Universal has added Epic Universe, that doesn't mean that Disney's only response is that they have to open a brand new theme park, even though this has been talked about. Even some theme park experts that have said Disney's going to announce that they're going to build a fifth gate in the coming year. I've also heard this for 2 or 3 years now, and I've been saying for as long as that's been going on that they're just not going to do that because it doesn't make any sense right now to do it. They've already put up all the money that they're going to do for these new expansions. A new theme park would cost anywhere between $5 to $10 billion, and who knows how long it would take to build. And there's just a lot of unknown things between now and 2035, 2045 time period where they could announce this. I think a lot of this is just the oversight district giving them the ability, if they want to do these things, they can. I mean, you look at zoning areas, this happens a lot where a certain area is zoned for something if you decide you want to do it for that in the future. It doesn't mean it's a guarantee that you will. And in fact, if you look at the old agreement under Reedy Creek, Disney technically could have built a nuclear power plant. They had the ability to do it. They just never basically exercised that option to do so. So just because they have the ability to announce a fifth gate or 2 new water parks, but even if the fifth gate was on their minds and they were thinking about doing it, I think if they were to pull the trigger on it, it would all hinge on how these new expansions are accepted. Do they go over with the fan base well? Do they really boost attendance? If these new things don't do that, there's no way they're going to announce a fifth gate because A, the money, and B, it's a massive risk to open up a brand new theme park, and not to mention, I don't even know what they would theme it on. I mean, the biggest rumor for a long time was Villains Land or Villains Park they would do, and obviously they're doing Villains Land and Magic Kingdom. So I don't even know what they would do from an IP standpoint of a brand new theme park. But I think when you look at the Disney parks right now, they're not looked at like they were 10 years ago. There's been a lot of brand damage by Disney in the past 5 to 6 years. And, people don't look at the Disney brand like they used to. Prices have been going up. Things have been, perks have been taken away. And obviously Universal is doing a lot of innovative things with Epic Universe. And they're going to continue to add things into those parks, the existing parks over there, that are going to get attention on them as well. So I think just under the new realistic scenario that basically you are going to share an audience on some level with Disney and Universal, to assume by you building a fifth gate that they would only come on your property. And then if you look at what Universal's doing, they've eaten 10% of market share the last decade. They very well could eat more market share going into the next decade. I think it's very likely that they could, and maybe they could eat up more than 10% of market share going into the next 10 years. And if that scenario alone happens, I think a fifth gate is a non-starter. Now, they're never going to admit that, Universal is basically eating into their market share and they're sharing an audience. But I think they would know well enough that a fifth gate is not going to make a lot of sense with this. And they very likely would look at spending more money probably at the cruise lines. If you look at how much money they've spent, over $10 billion, I think, this past year on new cruise ships, because they felt that's an area where they can eat into market share without as much competition on that end of things. I just think the Orlando market is completely different now than it was a decade ago, and I think it's going to continue to change and evolve over the next decade. I think what makes much more sense is to go into your existing parks, flush those out fully, fix all the issues you have in those parks, give people experiences that they want, get your maintenance back on track, get the parks back how they were 10, 15 years ago in terms of how they were ran. And then I think you would have the better use of money and time by doing that. And I think Disney World would be in a much better position doing that scenario versus keeping things how they are and just throwing a fifth park into that mix when you already have some infrastructure issues going on and operational issues going on that I think a fifth park at this point would just make it a bigger mess in that scenario. Get the parks back to having the things they used to do really well, give the guests what they want, and then see where you're at in 10 to 20 years down the road. I'm not saying Disney will never do a fifth gate. I mean, who knows? It could make sense in 30, 40 years to do so. I just don't think it makes any sense as of right now into the near future of, say, 10 years at least, even maybe looking at 20 years for doing a fifth gate. But it's going to be very interesting the next decade. Like I said, I think Universal is going to continue to be very aggressive of what they're doing. Obviously, Disney has the things that they're building, and how the audiences react to both of these and what's this look like in the next decade. I'm very interested in, as this ongoing battle is really only heating up. I think it's just going to continue to grow. And, if there is an economic rebound and people, like they said, if that many people are coming into Central Florida, that's going to be very interesting to see where that split goes between Disney and Universal in the next 5 to 10 years. But the other way, the oversight district at Disney World has said that Disney can build a fifth gate if they so choose to. I just don't think that they will. But time will tell, and we'll see what they end up doing with all this. But either way, that's going to be it, though, for this video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel, as we do lots of coverage here of Universal Studios, Epic Universe, Disney World, and pop culture. And let us know in the comments, do you think Walt Disney World needs a fifth gate to be announced? And until next time, we will see you in the parks.